Welcome to Under God Project. We are not in the house. In fact, we are in our guest's home today. And so things are a little awkward, but I appreciate y'all bearing with us. So let's get started. Welcome to Under God Project podcast. Together we accelerate America to be one nation under God again. June is a big month throughout American history. And we've already talked about in our last podcast, we talked about the formation of our nation through a particular family, the Lees of Virginia, and that was very exciting because it all kind of coincides together. Today, in the month of June is the same month that the Constitutional Convention was created for the forming of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And so it stands to reason that we will interview the somebody that I look up to as an expert on the Constitution. So I want to introduce our guest today. He's been a friend of the podcast before, Don Fotheringham. He's a Bronze Star recipient for his heroism at Iwo Jima. So obviously fought in World War II. He's a friend of the podcast, and he's an author of the book The President Makers. Let me flip this over here. You can see it. The President Makers, How Billionaires Control U.S. and Foreign Policy. So there are few that are such experts on runaway governments and corruption in the government, etc. He's been a staunch defender of the Constitution since all of his life, and we're honored to be in his home today. They've opened up their home so that we can have this discussion about preserving the Constitution. So, Don, welcome to the podcast again.
Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
Glad to be with you again.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So Don has a very interesting perspective that I wanted to bring out. Again, like we said, he's a World War II veteran, a decorated World War II veteran, Bronze Star at Iwo Jima, wrote the book on big government, and has a very interesting perspective on Article 5 and Article 5 conventions. And so we wanted to talk about that. We've talked about it so much. Don and I have been talking about it for a very long time, and I'm very excited to be able to chat with him and kind of start from the beginning. And that's honestly the hard part, is to kind of rewind the conversations and bring everybody up to it. So let's start with Don. What are with just a simple question? What is your thought about Article 5 and its purpose?
Article 5 was put in the Constitution because our founding fathers were great, humble men. They had just put together a form of government that was unique in the United States, and they were sure they had made mistakes. Article 5 was a means by which they could quickly correct those mistakes on a constitutional basis. Okay, and
there are movements today about how we use Article 5, right? There are particular movements about Article 5 conventions. What's your thought about an Article 5 convention?
I think it would be a big mistake at this point in our history. For ever since the founding of the country, there have been many proposals by states, which requires 2/3 of them to institute it, to get it going.